I used to always say that if I have the opportunity of being a parent, if I ever become one, that I wanted to homeschool my children, because I personally believe that it's my job to raise up my own kids. It's my job to rear them up and to mold and sculpt their mind frames. And I personally couldn't possibly trust anyone else with that. I could never trust any system to raise my kid with morals and values and of the faith, and to, be an upright citizen, to mold and sculpt their very being, because who they are as kids and how much, you put your hands on them and you mold and sculpt them, and whatever they're presented with, whatever is placed before them, is ultimately what they absorb and what they become as a result, right? So I've always said that was my job to do. I didn't want anybody else to do that, right? I believe in, traditionalism to raise up my kids and to be, I guess really I would have to be an at-home mom for that, right? Granted, all situations don't provide an easy outlet for that, because a lot of times it takes two incomes, but thankfully a lot of parents can work from home in this day and age. And parents, I think it's very important that you strongly consider it, especially what's going on out here in this world. Like, again, it was something that I always said that I wanted to do, but to see where the school system is going and the things that are teaching them, it is a horrible time to be a parent at this time. And your kids need you more than ever at this very moment in their life, because now they're teaching kids in school about transgenderism. You used to have kids just growing up and feeling a certain way for whatever reason, and you didn't really know why, but they started questioning their sexuality and who they were, right? Now they're brainwashing kids in school, and they're teaching them transgenderism. They're trying to make them represent Pride Month, tell them the word pride colors, and making them be a part of that, something that they just don't believe in because you didn't raise them around it, and it's just something that they themselves aren't latching onto or wanting to be a part of. And now they're trying to reprimand them. I see that they're trying to pass a law saying that if you are anti-LGBTQ, that they can remove the kids from the house, and especially if their kid claims a different gender identity other than what they're actually born. And you see, y'all, they are brainwashing the kids in school. They are telling kids, it's okay to be this. You could be a boy today and a girl tomorrow. You can be whatever you want to believe in. You can be gender fluid and so forth. They're literally brainwashing your kids to question themselves, and which would ultimately lead to, transgendering, changing their sex. And people don't talk about what it does to people long term and the damage that you are doing to their bodies. Kids are out here being mutilated because their parents are teaching them that this is okay, or schools are teaching them that this is okay, and kids are out here getting their bodies mutilated. Something that they can't even consciously think to do as a child, because as a child, you don't know yourself. You don't know, like your mind isn't even developed enough to make that such a decision for themselves. But yet you're teaching them, kids are being taught that they can do whatever, but guess what? Then pay the consequences later down the road. These are the things that people aren't talking about. You got your kids making decisions. As a child, I couldn't have made such a decision for myself. Heck, even just the ways that I lived, the things that I was doing even in my 20s, especially my early 20s, is something that I would never do today in this life. So how much more would I never do or be supportive of things that I did as a kid? As a kid, you don't understand. But they're brainwashing your kids. They're teaching them. They're having these discussions. They're trying to force them to accept LGBTQ and to be a part of it. Having drag queen story time. Why do drag queens, men in makeup and dresses, need to be reading to your kids, and then they have armed security standing outside of the buildings of these establishments when this is going down? Why am I endlessly seeing videos of drag queens, transgenders dancing, twerking, half naked in front of little kids? Why is Pride Month being pushed onto these kids? Why, first of all, does your sexuality and the sex that you're attracted to, why does that have to be front and center? Why does that need to be on display for everybody to see? Why do we need to know your sexual preference? 2, why does that have to include a bunch of just twisted and perversion? Why are these men out here like half naked, whipping each other, hitting each other on the butts, smacking each other on the butts? And 3, why are kids in attendance? Why is this considered kid friendly? Are you kidding me? And then to see men, grown men, standing there and supporting this and clapping their hands, shame on you. Shame on you. What healthy masculine man would ever support such sick perversion? A man that really should be questioning his own sexuality if he was ever in support of such a thing. And you got your kids out there. This is why men are so weak in this day and age. Men are more feminine than the women. Women are more masculine than the men. You know, women are leading households instead of men, because the men today, the average man is a sissy, a straight up sissy, isn't masculine at all. And if he is masculine, it's that toxic masculinity where he thinks he goes around beating on his chest makes him a man, and he thinks calling the shots and trying to manipulate and abuse a woman makes him a man. Like, where is this world going, y'all? At the end of the day, you're going to have to pick what side of the fence you want to be on. You want to be in this wayward world and go down with it? Or you going to stand with the Most High, stand with Yahuwah? At some point, you're going to have to voice where you're at, because the stuff that they were doing, like, yo, parents, why are y'all allowing this to happen? Look, I understand, people's situations are different, but your goal should be to get your kids out of these school systems. Get your kids out and homeschool them. Because if you were letting them teach your kids and raise up your kids, all you got to do is go online. You're not really going to see this stuff on the news. I mean, I don't know what's on the news. But you better get a hold of your kids instead of letting society raise them for you and twisting them and making them feel, literally forcing them to feel gay or lesbian or whatever, forcing them to question their sex. They're brainwashing your kids. Your kids are highly susceptible to all of this, all of what is being placed in front of them. As we know, kids absorb everything that they're introduced to, and they notice everything. They pay attention to everything. Your generations are literally being assaulted right now. If your kids are brainwashed into thinking they can be whatever gender they want to, and they go and change it, guess what? No kids for you and your lineage, because everybody's out here swapping sexual organs, and can't function with them. You're a woman and now you want to go be a man. Well, guess what? You'll never create sperm that's going to birth a child. Vice versa. You being a man, you chopping off your penis and getting it inverted and getting a vagina created. Well, you're never birthing a baby. It's not happening. Say goodbye to your lineage. If y'all are standing up and saying something is really wrong. But at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to pick and choose at some point, because the time is here. The time is now. Get a hold of your kids and yank them from these satanic schools. They're all nothing but satanic sellouts, and your kids need your provision, your protection right now like never before. And guess what? It's only going to get worse going forward. Word of encouragement.